Hey Jen, how are you?
Hi Chris, very good. How you doing?
I'm very well, very well. You had a good day?
Yeah, I have the sun shining. It's
Good.
boiling in the studio. Look at this. Look at this.
All right. Well, look, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you based? Yeah. Tell me.
So Chris, I've been in my studio now for about 6 or 7 years. I'm in Hertfordshire. I'm in Wheat Hampstead at Mid Hots Golf Club. I have the whole top floor here, overlooking, and I teach lots of golfers. Uh, some
Jen,
bits.
Jen, do me a favor. Just come forward a little bit. I can't see because of the beautiful sunshine. There we go. There we go. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of busy here. I live next door, so I've got the perfect kind of like combo going on here. Teaching golfers, teaching people with bad backs, teaching my seniors, teaching rugby players, athletes, you name it. You bring them through.
Obviously, I see a reformer there. So we reformer based, we floor based. What are we?
I've got the whole 360 approach, Chris. I've done the last 2 years, I've taken it down classical, the classical route. So I've got a fully equipped studio. I've got a reformer caddy. I've got the chair, ladder barrel, small barrels, you name it. So I've got the whole shabam here. I've got 2 rooms. So I've got a private room, and also I'm running all my mat work classes alongside that. I've been trying to get my mat work people to work on the equipment. The equipment is, it changes people's bodies. It's fantastic. It's great work. It's really strong. Also, a lot of rehab you can do with springs and the equipment. So it's kind of like crucial to the journey of Pilates, really. And we need to be using mat work and every tool available to us.
What have you sort of found, obviously with us all being locked down, what have you sort of, is it the same sort of injuries or people that are coming through the door that, like I'm definitely seeing more people that are sort of hunched over their laptops a lot more,
Yeah.
back problems, shoulder issues, I mean, are these big issues that you're finding with your customers, or they got more, or?
Yeah, I think personally I'm getting like this zoom neck, like totally forward head posture, rounded shoulders. I'm like, what? And then all my clients, they've either got tight hips and hamstrings where they're either walking hours and then sitting down for hours and nothing in between.
Yeah.
You've got that. I've got tight
Yeah.
hips, tight hamstrings, tight upper backs, rounded shoulders, pokey head business going on, and just generally tighten people's shoulders. So yeah, it's people are going out crazy doing stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, I've had a few back issues, Jen. What do I do?
What do I do? What do I do? Okay, cool. What would you sort of, we had a title of, imagine that you've got a group of people that are watching us now and they haven't got haven't lucky enough to get a reformer, or, what are the big exercises that you would say that would be good for people to, look at in relation to stuff that they can do on the wall, on the floor, if you've got some.
So what we need to look at, Chris, really, like today, I think we'll go through a very quick, if you've got a bit of wall space there, we'll go through a very quick little wall routine to
Yeah.
get the posture back into some kind of upright position,
Yeah.
um, chest and shoulders. But honestly, we've got to be working on hip mobility stuff. You've got to be working on, thoracic rotation. There's all sorts of stuff, and it's horses for courses, really. But if you have a mat, I would definitely encourage you to get down and do some, very simple bits Pilates wise. But I do like the wall, and that's what we're going to do today. I like the wall because it gives you a sense of your spine, and we need to lift the spine. We need to get out of this.
Internal rotation, more of this external rotation, and yeah. Okay, cool. So look, I haven't, because I'm in my garage, obviously I haven't got any fixed walls, but what I do have is I've got, lucky enough that I've got a chin up bar. So is this cool enough for us to do some stuff? Can you see me all right on here?
That's good, Chris. Yeah, that will do. That will do nicely. I mean, I'm going to probably take the arms out like this, Chris, but we'll turn you around. If you face me first. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Cool.
Yeah. Have you got a couple of hand weights there, Chris?
Oh Jesus.
Come on.
Hey.
We don't want big ones. We don't want hefty ones. We just need a couple of little lighties.
I don't have hefty weights. Look, I tell you what, I've definitely been with a couple of my clients. These are 3 kilos, but some of my clients haven't actually got any weight. So what I've got them to do is fill up 2-litre bottles of water.
Good. That's cool with me. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to do is just take yourself. So you're going to, folks at home, you're just going to imagine Chris is against a wall right now. So he's got more surface area because he's only against this skinny little pole. But Chris, what I want you to do is just, can you try and bring each one of your backbones into the wall? And that might mean bringing your feet out a little bit away from the wall.
So just, I put my weight down. So am I kind of more tilting my pelvis?
I don't really want you to tuck and tilt too much. So walk away from the pole a little bit more with your feet, and then soften your knees until you can get the whole spine back up in the wall.
Okay, got that.
Including that lovely head. You got it. Now I do want you to have your hand weights, so pick them up and get back to that position.
Okay.
Good. Alrighty. So, I mean, Chris, you're working in parallel. I would normally work in Pilates stance, heels together, toes apart. And I hope you've taken off those slippers. You are bare feet. I can't see your feet.
Yeah.
Good. Just checking. So we want a fist distance apart from the toe knuckles. Check that, Chris.
Yeah, got that. So the reason why I'm turning my toes out in that Pilates stance is to allow my glutes to activate, get this external rotation in the hips. Yeah.
For sure. And then I want you to lift the arches of your feet. So I'm kind of thinking I don't want anything to collapse in. I want everything to be open.
Okay, yeah, good.
So just check in, is each bone into the wall? Because that's quite tough.
Yeah, that is.
All right, don't you cheat on me because I can't see you. Now, Chris, just relax your arms a little bit. Take a deep breath in, and then you're just going to start to peel each bone away from that pole. Go slow, go deliberate.
From my head, yeah?
Yeah, you're going to roll down, head comes off. Slowly, the thoracic vertebrae come off. Get to the lowest ribs, pause, right? Make sure you're really lifting up through your center. Don't cheat me here. And you're going to take 5 lumbar vertebrae out of the wall, bone by bone. Taking the body down and forwards. Go on. Beautiful.
My weight's just allowing they're basically just a heavy.
For now they are, Chris, for now. Now, I want you to stop when your hand weights get to about mid-shin. So the pelvis is going to stay definitely on the wall. Yeah. Now, Chris, let your head go. Really let your head go. That's it. Give me tiny circles with your arms, like so super small. That's it. Really loosey arms.
Loosey.
Then circle the other way. And check in with your feet, Chris. Are you even? Are you standing more in your right or your left?
I am probably a little bit more on my left leg.
Make sure you even that work out.
Am I off with my weight in my toes?
Okay, all right. Maybe even that out a little bit, but you might be a little bit more on your toes. Okay. Now, stop your arms. Just come to a natural stillness with your arms. Here's the work, Chris. You're going to take your bones back up the wall. Go slow with this. Soften the knees off if you need to. Press into your feet. And I want to imagine that each bone is going to stick to the wall like a little sucker, one over the other, over the other, over the other, over the other. Yeah. Right. And I mean, keep everything in the wall. Coming up to the neck. The neck won't go into the wall, but the head is going to go back. Right, get that head back and do not pop your ribs.
So keep the shoulders forward, yeah? Don't pop them out.
Shoulders relaxed, Chris, but I don't want to lose the back ribs into the wall. Okay, can you do that one more time for me? We're not going to circle at the bottom. Give me one more roll.
Okay.
So lift up to go over, up to go over. You want to imagine you're creating space there in between each backbone. Press through the feet. Loose arms. You can take yourself a little bit further, Chris, just maybe 2 inches off the floor with the hand weights. Let everything go, loose arms. Let the head go. Start rolling up, Chris. Take a breath. Press into the feet. Watch you're not more into that left leg than the right. And go slow with each bone into the pole/wall. Keep your bones in the wall. I want you to slowly travel your arms forwards. Right, so slow. That's it, so slow, but don't allow anything to pop out of the pole or wall. How far can you go up, Chris? How far can you go up? Back ribs, lumbar. Keep it in the wall.
A little heavy, Jen.
Low, and then come back down. You were making excuses because they were little light client weights.
They're not little light client weights.
Chris, I would use like 1 kilos, but I don't know if you own 1 kilos.
Why would you let me use the 3s then?
Oh, because 3s are good. Come on, let's do that again. So find your bones.
Yeah.
Back. Head is like a helium balloon going upwards. Feet are going downwards. Shoulder blades are staying back and down. Go for it, Chris.
That's as far as I can go without compensating.
Give me 2 more. I know it's tough. This looks easy, but if you're doing it well, we're going to open that back out. We're going to stretch it, Chris. You shouldn't be pulling that face either.
I can't help it. Usually I've got my best mate helping me out, like taking the pressure off. Joey, thanks, bud.
Now, Chris, go up, go up, go up, go up. You're going to go into a big circle, around, around, and around. Keep those arms slightly in your peripheral vision as you do it. Back down to your hips. So I think you lost your lumbar there. Back to.
You lost a lot of things. Jesus, Jen. Right. So is that something that you would do with everyone starting, or would they start with like just maybe their arms to start with? Because that took a lot of effort to keep, you know, like obviously I've been training for a fair amount of years, but to keep that each vertebrae locked in.
Yeah.
That's quite tough. I mean, some of my clients definitely are too round shouldered. They couldn't keep their shoulders back and their lower back flush.
Yeah. You could do that at the beginning, Chris, with no hand weights.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good way. I put people on before I do footwork on the reformer, and
So that would be your first warm up. Would that be a warm up exercise for you to do, like an assessment that you would have them do?
I do both. Usually, the wall ending is at the ending. It's an ending to our class, our. But actually, I sometimes put it in at the beginning to assess postures and just see how much work I've got to get all this information open and to see how the backs are moving really. And you know, most people, I wouldn't take my seniors into flexion with hand weights. No. But for the average Joe, they'll be doing that.
Would this be a good little tool for most people to do during the, you know, every day, just to sort of the roll up, roll down? Is this something that?
Wonderful. Like you can do that anywhere. Just get up from your, up from your desk, get to a wall. You can do that freestanding, Chris. The only way I didn't do it freestanding is you haven't got the feedback of the bones in.
Of course, yeah. How would you make that a little bit easier? If I brought my feet further away, would it be easier for me to keep my back flush? Is that?
And then maybe I would have had you parallel, slightly wider with your feet and your knees slightly bent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go back again quickly, Chris? Can I just show you something?
Yeah.
So if you go back to your parallel, get your hand weights.
Yeah.
If you go back to your parallel feet, hip width apart, and then sit on your knees, right? And now walk your feet out even more because I'm going to take you into a bit of a squat. Just quickly. No, don't go wide. Go away from the pole.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So lean back, get your bones on the pole.
Yeah.
And then slide down, Chris, and bring your arms up and hold it there in a squat. Get all your bones in, right? Now you can flip the arms up and around. Yeah, without bashing your garage. So, yeah, that's what I wanted. Exactly. And then you're going to stand back up. Yeah. So I can lay on, I can make.
Is that more of an advanced move for that, or would you?
Yeah, it certainly is. And a squat is very functional, right? A squat is what we should be doing.
I think they're good. I think that's a good little assessment for most people to have a little go at. And I know there's probably a lot of Pilates instructors also watching this that kind of, it's nice to get a little bit of a nugget of what someone else is doing in relation to spinal control, shoulder mobility, hip mobility. And that little exercise definitely springs up a lot of issues if your weight's too far forward, if the knees are spraying in, if my arms are near my ears, etc. So it's a nice, but what I quite liked is at the bottom of the rep, that whole sort of going against, letting gravity just literally took my lower back off, my shoulders lengthened out. That was a nice feeling to have.
So Chris, what remember with Pilates is that we have to slow things down and really drop in. It's really mindful movement. You know, it's connecting the mind and the body in a very powerful way. And in these times, yeah, turning into the body and turning into sensations in the body is an escape, really, is an escape for everyday life, for some of the, you know, shit that we're dealing with right now.
Oh, for sure, definitely, definitely. Okay, cool. So the other thing that we were going to talk about is this flow state that you were talking to me about. I'm quite interested in that. So what's your sort of quick little scope on flow state? I know it's a big subject, and I know that, you know, but what's your sort of...
So I'm passionate about flow state. I have flow classes where we just link one thing to the other. And flow, if you know, if you're an athlete, if things are going really good, time either stands still or it quickens up and you get into the zone where you're just on fire, where you're just, artists get it, people that play music. Chris, can you give me an example of, have you hit flow state?
I guess when I was younger, it was definitely, you know, my gymnastics is that rhythmic sort of movement. Yeah, definitely. Or even now going into like, you know, Olympic lifting, snatching, squatting, you know, if you're on form and everything is firing at the right points, you know, the squat becomes easy, the snatch becomes easy. So yeah, that's it.
That's the nugget. When things become absolutely, you know, at the point of that, you don't even have to think about it. It goes into another zone. And flow state for me is really important in my teaching. I get into flow state, and you might get into flow state when you teach, because you can't think about anything else. You're kind of in the moment. You're very present. And I was lucky enough to do flow fundamentals with guys called Jamie Wheel and Stephen Kotler, and they run a flow genome project, which has been amazing. But it, actually, Chris, what it's about is trying to find some rituals in your day. So for me, it's Pilates. I do my workout. I look after my body. You know, I don't do what I used to do when you used to train me years ago. Crazy times. But there are little rituals in our lives right now that are really important. So my coffee at 11, my pint of water at 8 a.m. You know, I make sure I eat well. You know, everything that I'm doing, I'm covering all my small bases: nutrition, I'm covering hydration levels, movement, mindfulness, you know, family, gratitude, all these things. And the more you have of those in your life, the little things that you tick off every day, suddenly you take the wheel off. Chris, I have a question for you. Do you want to be this came to me in my inbox from one of the guys, and it said you can either be a shopping trolley or a hovercraft. Right? The shopping trolley has got a whole load of junk in it. It's got a wonky wheel. It's going backwards sometimes, but you'll get there with a heavy load. You want to take the wheels off and hover. That's flow state. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely, you know, there's times through my career, definitely when we're talking about flow state, that you're trying to force something all the time and something just doesn't happen. Like you're trying to put loads of things into place. It could be relationships, work, finances, etc. And you just keep hitting these walls. You're putting the time in, putting the effort in. It's just not happening. Then you take a turning point and you do something completely different that you've not done before, and oh my god, it just fits in. I met the right person, we had this conversation, this happened, and I met this place and we've done this, and it's like, oh my god, it's just like this pattern and this path has just been like, oh my god, I'm here, and not like I've hit this wall, hit this wall, hit this wall. I think that's a definite you know, coming more on that sort of yeah, higher self, if you want to kind of talk about that sort of level of, you know, finding the right path to get to the right, you know.
If a door shuts, another door opens. You know, if it's not successful, back up and try a different path, and eventually you'll find the path. And suddenly when you're on that path, shit starts to happen, things come in, and it's not coincidental. It's just that you're there, you're present with it, you're in this kind of higher state with it. And the universe is our friend, Chris, right now. Yeah, we need to raise the energy level and stop the fear. Yeah, we do. And I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate that, you know, together we can, you know, thoughts are powerful. The mind is so powerful. It has the potential. Thoughts can change. You know, your thoughts have the power to change your life. 100%. So does
when especially when you're in a stressed state, you're not able to get into that flow state. Okay, so it's an analogy that I always had, that if I was focused on one particular goal, so I'm walking through the desert. I don't know who told me this. I thought my brother-in-law told me this, but he said he didn't. But anyway, you're walking through a desert and you're like gasping for water. Can't find any water. You just keep water, 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 and that's all you're focused on. And then you come across, you've been trekking for a couple of days, and then you tread on something. It's like you tread on a cactus. You're like, Jesus, I've been walking for 2 days. This is the first cactus I've actually trod on. And then you actually stop, look around, and the whole desert's covered in cactuses. But because you've been focused on one particular thing, you haven't had to look around. So I think definitely within training and definitely within that sort of mindfulness, that the ability to actually stop. And I'm still practicing this myself. It takes time, but definitely through these 5 weeks that we've been in isolation, 4 or 5 weeks, for me to actually be stopped and be present and understand what I'm actually doing, that has been the most powerful thing that I've definitely experienced throughout these last 4 weeks or so.
Do you do any breathing practices? Do you know breathing?
Breathing, yeah, definitely breathing is definitely the stuff that, and I do believe that breathing it can control that different autonomic nervous system, so it can put you into that sympathetic or parasympathetic state, depending on what rate of breathing you are, if you're holding it, if you're long exhalation, long inhalation. So I'm very intrigued with that sort of power of breath and how that can change body temperature. Women that are going through menopause, that stressor of how their breathing rate can change their overall body temperature at night. It's just really simple little things. The only thing that I pick up on in relation to people in the gym is their breathing rate, of how stressed they are. I've had someone walk up the stairs and they're already out of breath. They're already in a stressed state. So for the ability for them to learn and understand what I'm talking about, their type of training completely changes. And I think that's where that implement of, do you know what? We're not doing what you used to do, a high intensity session, or you're not hitting your 1 RMs or your 5 RMs. You know what we're doing? We're doing some floor work, or we're doing some breathing work, or we're doing some wall work, which is what you've just demonstrated.
That, Chris, because I've kind of seen lots of trainers, and it's so important to understand that in the human body in front of you. You teach what's in front of you, and that's really important. I'm so glad you said that. The box breathing, by the way, is breathe in for 4, hold for 4, that out for 4, and then repeat. And you can actually build that up. But it's a really lovely one to drop in, and then calm that state down and really drop into that very deep heart center. Wonderful for everybody to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. Jen, look, just to sort of finish this off today, I just wanted to, what books are you currently reading? Who are you following? What are you watching on YouTube? Just give me something that you sort of, you're looking at the moment, you're studying. What's it getting you excited?
Well, the breath.
Yeah.
I've been studying the breath. So I've done some Wim Hof breathing. I've done a whole load of online stuff with some of the, I can't remember the name. I went to this workshop just before lockdown, and it was just, I had the most out of body experience I've ever experienced in my whole entire life.
Was that a course? Was that a course you did?
Sorry?
Was that a course you did, or was it a seminar?
It was a seminar. It was an afternoon at Pi Studios. It was wonderful. But I've been studying the breath a lot, and I've been definitely going down the meditation spiritual route, just because I have a lot of faith that things will eventually turn good. But I've had to look inward and ask some serious questions. So I've done a lot of soul searching. I'm reading, well, I used to be a weaver, so I kind of got a creative side as well, Chris. So I'm reading all my creative stuff. I'm also drawing and painting, which I never get time to do.
You're a painter. You're a painter. That's what I knew you for.
Yeah, well, I was a weaver, and then so I was at St. Martin's, and I'm way away from that, but I still draw and I still paint. And for me to have the time now, I was teaching so many hours, I didn't have time for any of that. But now suddenly creativity's come in, and I quite honestly, Chris, I'm thinking of ditching my car and the TV right now. I think I'm going down that route.
Wow.
I bare feet as well. Do it.
Yeah.
Walk bare feet in the grass. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think again, you're going back to that stress state. When you're stressed, you can't be creative, you know, and that's what people are definitely, again, you know, me being at home a lot more, not doing the long hours that I'm doing, I definitely can become more creative with a lot of the stuff I've done. And I've definitely had to do that with a lot of this online stuff. You know, stuff, it's a world that I was never really introduced to. You know, I was kind of a generation that kind of missed out on it, but it was, you know, I've had to learn, as we all have, of how to do Zoom and online programming. And you know, it's, you have to be creative to kind of put yourself in that position, and you have to be less stressed to be able to
You
do,
do.
you know, the painting, the drawing, the singing, the dancing. It's all that sort of stuff that, you know, I'm able to dance with my son at night. And you know, it's just stuff like that that's I would have never been able to do if I was working the hours I was working before.
I did a workshop with Norman Blair on Saturday. Norman Blair is one of the most gifted gentlemen I know in Yin Yoga. I don't know if you know Yin. You hold the poses for up to 5 minutes, so it's very slow, and it's very mindful and meditative, and it's very like, man, it's deep. So you get to do pigeon for 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 20 minutes, if you can imagine. Chris, have you frozen?
Wow, that is intense.
So
Your mind would definitely start. My mind would definitely start wandering for a bit.
I mean, it's crazy, right? But he came on screen and there was like people from all over the world. And there's about 100 people that are zoomed in on his yin class. And we're all thinking, oh man, this is going to be so calm and we're going to drop in. He goes, just a minute, everybody stand hip width apart, just stand up. And you're like, yin, we don't stand up. We never stand up. We always lay down with blankets. And he stands there, right? He goes, hang on a minute. And he goes to his computer and he presses play. And all of a sudden, blaring out is Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
Oh my
He
God.
starts dancing. We all start dancing. And do you know what, Chris? It made me cry and laugh at the same time because it changed my brain state. I was kind of like all in the place. I couldn't, you know. And then suddenly you have a little dance in your living room. And then we dropped into deep stuff and deep, you know, fascial stretching. But you know, that was pretty genius and wonderful. And I haven't got the technology, but I swear I'm going to do it in my courses. I'm going to try and link up a bit of technology so that I can play Staying Alive.
Definitely, you should do. Well, you just need a speaker. I just have a speaker that I just play through the like through my speaker through this speaker. You just need to do that. Little sound system, people can hear you.
They can. Okay, I was worried that it was going to sound a bit naff.
No, no, it's all right. It's all right, I think. Look, Jen, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on and chatting to me this afternoon. Look, where can anyone? I know you're based in Wheathampstead. Just tell us name of your business. You know, again, where you're based, how people can get hold of you.
All right, so Jen Day I-Pilates website. I'm in, yeah, Wheathampstead / Harpenden, St Albans, Welling. I reach quite a broad area. I also work, I kind of, you know, very closely linked to Pi Studios in Battersea. Yeah, you can find my website, I-Pilates. Yeah, I'm here on a screen for the foreseeable.
Brilliant. Jen, again, thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you soon.
It's great to see you. Take care.
Bye now. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.